Hey there, my brownies. Brownie Blog number 70 right here. That's right, we are hitting some pretty big numbers with this show already. We'll soon be to 3-digit numbers. So it's a great thing. Thank you for watching yet another Brownie Blog. And I just watched my Edmonton Oilers get an impressive 5-1 win against the Nashville Predators. And I also lost my Eastern favorites. I also watched my Eastern favorites, the Toronto Maple Leafs, lose 3-2 to the Detroit Red Wings. And as we get closer to the end of the NHL season, we even get closer to my NHL playoff prediction video, which is coming up very, very soon. Just got to get together with my friend Austin because he's going to help me record it so it can be a really good episode because he's got some better filming equipment. So you can look forward to the playoff predictions video. I will predict the entire NHL playoffs, and hopefully I will be correct, unlike when I predicted that Buffalo would win the Stanley Cup this year. Yeah, I was wrong. And so anyways, on a more serious note, it appears that Russia will continue its stupidity in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin had a speech today which pretty much made the West look like the bad guys, which we are not. Russia is the one violating pretty much every international law. And so Vladimir Putin said that he recognized the Crimean separation as legitimate because, you know, that's entirely what Putin wanted. He wanted Crimea to be part of Russia. However, it's not part of Russia, it's just its own independent state. And more sanctions have been put on by the Canadian government on Russian and Ukrainian officials, so they're not allowed in Canada. And the Russian ambassador in Canada doesn't think that sanctions will do a thing because, honestly, they didn't want to come to Canada or the US in the first place, so telling them they can't come doesn't really affect them. And I have to agree with that. Sanctions, to a point, don't really do a whole lot because if they're in Russia and they're Russians and they don't like Canada and the US, why would they come over here? And so sanctions don't do a whole lot, but they do say that politically Canada wants to do something, but they don't want to get too involved because a war might start. And it appears that the Crimean army, which is about 20,000 Russian soldiers, is ready to fire because they actually killed a Ukrainian security person. He was part of the army for Ukraine, and he was actually killed, and they're saying he was possibly tortured by the Crimean soldiers, and now the Ukrainian government has told all Ukrainian soldiers that they are allowed to fire if attacked first, which means some triggers may be starting to be pulled. So as one war is starting, another war has come to an end. Canadian military personnel are now officially all out of Afghanistan as of now. However, there's a sour taste that's been left in our mouth as two more Canadian soldiers have committed suicide after returning home. It's believed to be honestly from stress and PTSD because they came home and they didn't really know what to do with their lives anymore. But the thing is it's really sad to see it because honestly, it's an ongoing issue. As I've said before, I think PTSD is not dealt with properly by anyone, and it needs to be focused on a lot more by the Canadian government when it comes to our Canadian military, and it's just not a great thing to have happening, and really, our military personnel should not be having all these problems and being ignored. They've done a lot for our country, and we should treat them with some more dignity and respect and help them because they came from a violent environment and they're coming back, and so it's just we need to do a lot more for our veterans. That's what I think, and I think we need to do a lot more for PTSD in its own, not just for military personnel, but for anyone with a stressful job who has to go through hard stuff in life, such as police officers, or just pretty much anything that's a stressful job. And so PTSD, again, it's not dealt with properly, and I think the Canadian government really needs to look into that and do a lot more, especially for our Canadian military. And so now that Afghanistan is done, it appears that we may be able to go to war again against Russia, but I'm also hoping that that doesn't happen. But anyways, keep up with what's going on in Ukraine and Crimea and Russia, because you know Crimea is now its own place according to Russia. So anyways, keep up with what's going on out there, and definitely eat some brownies, keep watching some hockey, and I don't know. See you guys tomorrow, eat some brownies. Goodbye.